Filecmp.Cmp, ignoring differing Os.Stat signatures. The Python 2 docs for Filecmp say, unless shallow is given and is false, files with identical Os.Stat signatures are taken to be equal. Which sounds like two files which are identical except for their Os.Stat signature will be considered unequal. However, this does not seem to be the case, as illustrated by running the following code snippet. Output. As you can see, the two files' timestamps, st_time, st_time, and st_time, are clearly not the same, yet Filecmp.Cmp indicates that the two are identical. Am I misunderstanding something, or is there a bug in either Filecmp.Cmp's implementation or its documentation? Update. The Python 3 documentation has been rephrased and currently says the following, which is an improvement only in the sense that it better implies that files with different timestamps might still be considered equal even when shallow is true. If shallow is true, files with identical Os.Stat signatures are taken to be equal. Otherwise, the contents of the files are compared. For what it's worth, I think it would have been better to simply have said something like this. If shallow is true, file content is compared only when Os.Stat signatures are unequal.
You misunderstanding the documentation. Line number 2 says, unless shallow is given and is false, files with identical Os.Stat signatures are taken to be equal. Files with identical Os.Stat signatures are taken to be equal, but the logical inverse is not true. Files with unequal Os.Stat signatures are not necessarily taken to be unequal. Rather, they may be unequal, in which case the actual file contents are compared. Since the file contents are found to be identical, Filecmp.Cmp returns true. As per the third clause, once it determines that the files are equal, it will cache that result and not bother rereading the file contents if you ask it to compare the same files again, so long as those files' Os.Stat structures don't change.
It seems that rolling your own is indeed what is required to produce a desirable result. It would simply be nice if the documentation were clear enough to make a casual reader reach that conclusion. Here's the function I am presently using.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.